Greetings, family. Brother Baker here, coming to you again, just talking about things that's coming up for me. This one, I'd like for y'all to go to my website, thebakerconsulting.com, go to my blogs, and putting one up, and it's called The Hope Trap: Breaking Cycles of Social Disappointment. And with the past political events that have been happening in recent days, um, or for let's say maybe over the last 3 months or so, there has been this despair and this disappointment that I have witnessed in others, that I began looking at it as either the disappointment of hope, the trauma of hope, or something in that area, right? And we finally put our hands on it with this title, The Hope Trap, right? Breaking the cycle of social disappointment. And the big thing about that is, it's this paradox that lies in hope, where some say that they need hope to keep going, and as I am putting forward now, that hope has held us up, it has paralyzed us, it has kept us inactive, right? Because we have been hoping that people would do the right thing, that people's humanity would come out. Yet faith has not borne that, or hope has not borne that to be true, right? So we have to move into what I am calling faith, right? Having faith that things will change, which is going to require us to take action, right? What is going to be necessary for us to work together to bring about our common humanity across racial divides, right? What is going to be necessary for us to deal with the onslaught of manipulation and frustration and can't think of all the words, right, that is coming up in so many people, and the words we're hearing from this administration and their blame game, right? And I want to just encourage people to keep their eyes open and not get too caught up in the distraction that they are putting in front of us, right? So how do we deal with this paradox of hope, right? Do we need it to keep going, or are we able to set that aside and move into this faith thinking, that knowing that we are all going to be all right in the end, we're going to be okay, that everything is going to be okay. We may have some stuff to deal with in the meantime, but we know that it's going to be okay, right? I first came to this when I had dinner, my wife and I had dinner with this gentleman in Las Vegas, and one of the things that I said to him afterwards, because it was such a great dinner, such a great conversation, is that I hope we can do this again. And his words to me was, hope is the absence of faith. And that struck me and has stuck with me, I don't know, over the past 5 to 8 years since I first heard that, right? And I want to encourage us to move in that way. James Baldwin in The Fire Next Time said, we can't simply hope for a better life and a better world. We must take action to create it, right? Understanding that faith without works is dead, right? We have to take action. And part of that action today is us uniting, right? There's so many separate groups working towards the same end. What do we need to do to bring these groups together, right? So that we can all be working towards the same cause, right? That's a question for us. Knowing that this time that we are moving into is a new time, right? I know all of you have heard of the age of Aquarius, right? And that is truly the time where we're moving in, where we're moving from this individualistic consciousness and thinking to this collective consciousness and thinking. And so that there's an awareness, we have to understand that what brought about capitalism and colonialism is a mindset of acquisition, right? The acquisition of the object, that has been the driving force in this society. And the question that we have to ask ourselves again is the acquisition in the object the way for us to get to our humanity? I don't believe that it is, right? Yet this society is fighting, and we can see that based on the elections that have just happened, right? It is fighting for its survival. And what is it? It is whiteness, right? And understanding that. And that's part of our growing work to move into our humanity is to understand this imaginary, real, invisible privilege thing that is called whiteness that is in this society, right? How do we recognize it and understand the impact that it has had on people of color, on black folks, on indigenous folks, on Asian folks, on Latino folks, and also on white people? How does whiteness impact white people? That's a question that I have been exploring with others in different groups, right? So as we move ourselves from this idea of the acquisition of the object to our full humanity and what that is and what that means, let us explore faith and being able to work together and move away from the disappointment that so often has come from this idea of hope. Again, to get a full scope of what I was saying as well, go to my website and look at my blog, thebakerconsulting.com.